Welcome to the class of idioms. A hearty welcome to the students of BA, BSc and BCom second year. So, I'm R. Sucharita, Government Degree College, Khairatabad, Hyderabad, Department of English. So, today we are going to learn about vocabulary, that is idioms. I hope you have learnt about idioms in your earlier classes. So we are going to see what is the definition of idioms. An idiom is an expression common to a particular culture that does not mean what it literally says. So, for example, to rain cats and dogs. So, this is a very common expression, to rain cats and dogs, which means to rain heavily. Raining heavily is called as to rain cats and dogs. It is an idiom. Then break a leg, which means good luck. This is another one, break a leg, which means good luck. So idioms have a significant role in all the languages. They enrich the language with their local color and native tinge. Idioms are expressions peculiar to a language. An idiom is a common word or phrase which means something different from its literal meaning, but can be understood because of their popular use. Because idioms can mean something different from what the words mean, it is difficult from someone not very good at speaking the language to use them properly. So these idioms, they have a very significant role, an important role in all the languages. In all the languages, we find these idioms. So if there is no idiom, that means there is no taste of the language. The language is very dull. So they enrich the language with their local color and their native tinge. So idioms are expressions peculiar to a language. An idiom is a common word or phrase which means something different from its literal meaning, but can be understood because of their popular use. So while standing and while sitting and while speaking, everywhere they'll be using these idioms. So because idiom can mean something different from what the words mean, it is difficult for someone not very good at speaking the language. So if you are not very good at speaking the language, then it is difficult to understand the inner meaning of the idiom. So to use them properly is very necessary. So there are some examples of these idioms. So barking up the wrong tree and peas in a pad. You can see under the weather. Then smart cookie. Then Goody Two Shoes. Dog days of summer. Then through the grapevine, cool as cucumber, on cloud nine. Then on your high horse. Then couch potato. Then wild goose chase. Then clam up. Wolf in sheep's clothing. Then dress to the nines. Then top banana. Then green with envy. Then hit the hay. All these. All these are called as idiomatic expressions. So I think some you know what are these idiomatic expressions. So barking up the wrong tree. Then so now we are going to see some idioms. Barking up the wrong tree. Barking up the wrong tree. So barking up the wrong tree means directing your efforts towards a wrong person or thing. And then the next one we can see crocodile tears. Crocodile tears are the fake tears. Untrue. They are called as crocodile tears. And the next one we can see Goody Two Shoes. So Goody Two Shoes means someone who tries to be perfect. Someone who tries to be perfect is called as Goody Two Shoes. Then peas in a pad. Peas in a pad means people who are close. People who are close to us are called as peas in a pad. Then under the weather. Under the weather means not feeling well. Sorry. Not feeling well is called as under the weather. Then smart cookie. Smart cookie means it is a person who is very intelligent. A person who is very intelligent is called as a smart cookie. Then dog days of summer. Dog days of summer is the hottest. The hot days of summer are called as dog days of summer. And then the next one we can see through the grapevine. So through the grapevine is that is informal spreading of gossips and rumors is called as through the grapevine. And the next one we can see cool as a cucumber. Cool as a cucumber means it is very calm, not nervous, is called as cool as cucumber. Sorry. Then hit the hay. Here you can see. This is hit the hay. Hit the hay means it is go to sleep. Then on your high horse. On your high horse means it is a person who is in a superior or arrogant position. In a superior or arrogant position is called as on your high horse. Then you can see a wild goose chase. So what is this wild goose chase? So wild goose chase means it is in a confused manner. Wild goose chase is a hopeless or confusing situation. Hopeless or confusing situation is called as wild goose chase. Then the next one is here dressed to the nines. Dressed to the nines means dressed fashionably. Dressed fashionably is called as dressed to the nines. Then top banana. Top banana means it is above. Then green with envy. That means it is very jealous. Is called as green with envy. So like this, these are some common uh, idioms that you have learned. And now we are going to our textbook, that is vocabulary idioms. So, in spite of all our warnings, he started chatting and let the cat out of the bag. Let the cat out of the bag. So, you can't cut down trees and complain about scanty rains. You can't eat your cake and have it too. In the above sentences, the words in italics are to be understood not individually but as a group. For instance, the meaning of the first sentence has nothing to do with either cat or bag. To let the cat out of the bag as a whole means to reveal something that is supposed to be kept secret. Similarly, to eat the cake and have it too means to do two incompatible things simultaneously. So, such expressions are called as idioms. So, let the cat out of the bag means tell a secret. So, you can't cut down trees and complain about scanty rains. Then you can't eat your cake and have it too. All these are idiomatic expressions. So in the above sentences, the words in italics, they are understood not individually but as a group. So the meaning of the first sentence has nothing to do with either cat or bag. So what is the actual or the inner meaning of let the cat out of the bag is to reveal something that is supposed to be kept as a secret. So, telling a secret is only called as let the cat out of the bag. So, this is an idiomatic expression. Then, similarly, to eat the cake and have it too. Too incompatible, that means impossible. To coexist is called as incompatible. So, the two incompatible things done simultaneously, such expressions are called as idioms. So, an idiom is an expression whose meaning cannot be worked out from the words it contains. In an idiom, the group of words have a fixed order, and as a group, they have a meaning that is different from the meaning of the individual words in the group. For example, if you describe someone as a person who has both her feet on the ground, it means she is a sensible, realistic, and practical person. So, an idiom, it is called as an expression, and the meaning it cannot be worked out from the words it contains. So, in an idiom, the group of words they have a fixed order, and the group they have a meaning that is different from the meaning of the individual words in the group. So, the best example, if you describe someone as a person, for example, we say she has both her feet on the ground. So that means what? Is she keeping her feet on the ground? No. If you take the meaning literally, then you are wrong. So actually, both her feet on the ground means she is sensible. She is a sensible woman, realistic, and practical person. That is the meaning. A person who has both her feet on the ground means sensible, realistic, and practical person. So there is lot of similarity and hence confusion between phrasal verbs referred to Unit 3 vocabulary and idioms. The essential difference between the two, however, is that a phrasal verb is a verb whose meaning is modified by a preposition or adverb or both, but which still functions as a verb. An idiom, on the other hand, is more like a saying or an expression or a proverb that is specific to a culture. While a lot of idioms are formed using phrasal verbs, many are not. For example, tell me about your first day in the college. I'm all ears. The idiom all ears means to be ready and eager to hear what something has to say, and it does not have a verb in it, nor does it function as a verb. It is enough to remember that some phrasal verbs are idioms. After a bitter fight, they decided to make up. Phrasal verb make up means to reconcile or end a disagreement with someone, while others are not. Please switch off the lights and fans when you leave the room. Similarly, some idioms are phrasal verbs. She is a strong person. She will bounce back soon. Means recover after an illness, defeat, etc., while others are not. I am all ears. So, there is a lot of similarity and there is confusion between phrasal verbs as we refer to Unit 3 vocabulary and idioms. So, what is the difference between two? Phrasal verb is a verb whose meaning is modified. Modified by what? By preposition, adverb, or both. But still it functions as a verb. So, an idiom, on the other hand, it is more like a saying or an expression. For example, you can say it is like a proverb, an idiom. So, that is specific to a culture. So, while a lot of idioms are formed using phrasal verbs, many are not. For example, tell me about your first day in the college. I'm all ears. Now, I'm all ears is the idiom. So, what is this all ears? EARS. All ears means to be ready and eager to hear. I want to hear about your first day in the college. So, that is called as all ears. Means ready and eager to hear what someone has to say. That is called as I am all ears. And it does not have a verb in it, nor does it function as a verb. It is enough to remember that some phrasal verbs are idioms. After a bitter fight, they decided to make up. So, what is this make up? Is makeup putting makeup to your face? No. Here, phrasal verb makeup means to reconcile, to have friendship again, to reconcile or end a disagreement with someone. So, that is the meaning of this phrasal verb makeup here, while others are not. Please switch off the lights and fans when you leave the room. Similarly, some idioms are phrasal verbs. Then, she is a strong person. She will bounce back soon. Now, see this phrase, she will bounce back soon. What is the meaning of this? She will bounce back soon. She will bounce back soon means recover after an illness or a defeat. Again, she will recoup or she will bounce back. So that is the actual meaning. While others are not. So using idioms correctly and comfortably in your speech and writing shows your mastery and fluency in the language. Idioms add liveliness to language. Then without idioms, language can be correct, but it may be dull. Knowledge of idioms is particularly important for understanding spoken English, as in informal situations. People often use idioms as shorthand for lengthy explanations. So we should possess this skill of using idioms correctly and comfortably while we are speaking or while we are writing. So when you use idioms in your speech or when you are writing, that means it shows your mastery and fluency in the English language. Or you can use this in idioms in your mother tongue too. So, what is the role played by these idioms? Idioms, they add liveliness to language. Your language becomes more interesting to hear, and people are attracted through your speech or through your spoken language. So, idioms, they add liveliness to language. So, without idioms, your language, it may be correct, it can be correct, but how is it? It is dull. There is no liveliness. So, idioms, they add liveliness to your language. The knowledge of idioms is particularly important for understanding spoken English. So, it is better you gather more knowledge of idioms. The more idioms you know, the more your liveliness of the language will be. So, knowledge of idioms, it is particularly important for understanding, especially the spoken English, as in informal situations. People often use idioms as shorthand for lengthy explanations. Instead of speaking a story, like, you can just use an idiom so that the other person can understand. So instead of explaining a very lengthy story, if you use idiom, then it would be better. Then, however, it is advisable to avoid idioms in formal contexts such as academic, scientific, and technical writing. Remember that idioms are a feature of informal and colloquial language, and they are more typical of speech rather than writing. Moreover, idioms are culture specific. They do not translate easily into a different language or cultural context and may not be understood by all readers. Sometimes idioms also interfere with clear communication. Therefore, academic, scientific, technical matters are best presented directly and transparently. So, however, it is advisable that you have to avoid idioms in formal context. That means in formal writing, such as academic writing or scientific writings or technical writings. Please don't use idiomatic expressions in academic, scientific, and technical writing. Then remember that idioms, they are a feature of informal and colloquial language. Only in informal and colloquial language situations you have to use these idioms, and they are more typical of speech rather than writing. Mostly they are used in spoken language. This you have to remember. And then idioms are culture specific. They show your culture and they do not translate easily into a different language or cultural context and may not be understood by all readers. Especially the native speakers may understand these idioms very quickly than the others. In the same way, in other languages too, they are applied like that. So they may not be understood by all readers. Sometimes idioms, they also interfere with clear communication. Therefore, you have to remember that academic, scientific, technical matters are best presented directly and transparently. So don't use them in formal contexts such as academic, scientific, and technical writings. So this is the introduction of vocabulary of idioms. Now we are going to see the first exercise. So exercise number 1 on your page number 66 in your textbook. So choose the correct meaning. Choose the correct meaning of the idiom. So the first one is to pay through the nose. So he gave you A, B, C and D. So these are multiple choice questions. So you have to observe carefully and you have to mark the correct one out of A, B, C, D. To pay through the nose. A is doing something correctly or well. Then B is to pay more or something than its actual worth. Then C is to show your anger. Then D is to spend more time or energy on something than is necessary. So, to pay through the nose means to pay more for something than its actual worth. The actual price is something, and if you are paying more, so actually it is only 10 rupees, and if you are paying 20 rupees, that means you are paying through the nose. So, B is the right answer. Then number 2, to take something to heart. A is a lot of worry or excitement about a situation that is not important. To not allow criticism to worry or upset you. Then C, to allow something to affect or upset you deeply. Then D is to start behaving in an unacceptable way. So to take something to heart is to allow something to affect or upset you deeply. C is the right answer. Then number 3, to not have the stomach for something. To not have the stomach for something. So A is to be bored because you have nothing to do. Then B is to be born to rich parents. Then C is to exist with very little money. Then D is to not feel interested, strong or brave enough to do something. So to not have the stomach for something means to not feel interested, strong or brave enough to do something. So D is the right answer. Then the fourth one, it is on the rocks. In trouble, A. Then near failure or defeat, B. Then C is to do things in the wrong order. D is to settle down or become established. So on the rocks means in trouble. A is the right answer. Then we will see the fifth one. I will see the fifth one. To show someone the ropes. To show someone the ropes, A. To annoy someone, B. To impress or influence someone, C. To put pressure on someone, D. To show someone what to do. So, to show someone the ropes means to show someone what to do. D is the right answer. Then, number 6, to see red. A. The small visible part of a large problem. B. To become angry. C. To be suspicious of what you hear. To not believe everything you hear. Then D. To turn a small problem into a large one. So to see red means to become angry. B is the right answer. Then the next one is to hold the fort. You can see in your textbook on page number 67. So number 7, to hold the fort. A. To accept both the good and bad aspects of something. B. To be experienced and good at something. C. To do a job for someone. In the bracket, example, while they are away or busy. Then D. To make someone or something seem less good or important. So to hold the fort means to do a job for someone. C is the right answer. To do a job for someone, example, while they are away or busy. Then number 8, to lead someone up the garden path. A. To be funny or ironic. Then B. To deceive someone, often over a long period of time. Then C. To embarrass someone. Then D. To get out of control. So B is the right answer. To lead someone up the garden path means to deceive someone, often over a long period of time. So 8th one, B is the right answer. Then 9th one, to get someone off your chest. A. To do something that hurts yourself. B. To have many things to do or worry about. C. To relax. D. To talk about something that has been worrying you for a long time. So 9th one is C is the answer, to relax. To get something off your chest means to relax. C is the right answer. Then number 10. To take a leaf out of someone's book. A. To be involved in something. B. To be sensible and realistic. C. To follow someone's example. D. To look after someone, to take care of them. So, to take a leaf out of someone's book means C is the right answer, that is, to follow someone's example. So, exercise 1 we have done. Then, Exercise number 2. So, exercise number 2. Exercise number 2. Match the idiom in column 1 with the meaning in column 2. So you can find this on page number 68. So this is, you have to match the following. So there are 10 sentences given at the left and 10 sentences which are given at the right side of the column. You can see here. So see the first one. So if someone fits the bill, so when you go to the right side, when you go to the right side of this column, you can see H, that is, it is what is required. It is what is required is called as if something fits the bill. The meaning of this idiomatic expression is it is what is required. H is the right answer, the first one. And then the next one, if you do something at the drop of a hat. If you do something at the drop of a hat. So this is the idiomatic expression. So where can you match this? If you do something at the drop of a hat, that means G is the right answer. You do it without hesitation. So if you do something at the drop of a hat means you do it without hesitation. Then the third one, if you don't bat an eye. If you don't bat an eye means I is the right answer. You show no reaction. If you don't bat an eye is an idiomatic expression which means you show no reaction. Then the fourth one, if something has teething problems. If something has teething problems, that means it has difficulties at the start. It has difficulties at the start. A is the right answer. So if something has teething problems means it has difficulties at the start. Then the next one, if people are at loggerheads. If people are at loggerheads, the meaning of this idiomatic expression is they are in conflict. They are in conflict. So C is the right answer. So if people are at loggerheads means they are in conflict. Then the sixth one, if something goes against the grain. If something goes against the grain, E, that is, it isn't what you believe in. If something goes against the grain means it isn't what you believe in. E is the right answer. Then, if you're penny wise, pound foolish, that means you manage your finances badly. D is the answer. Once again, if you're penny wise, pound foolish, D is the right answer. That means you manage your finances badly. Then the eighth one, if a race goes, down to the wire. If a race, R-A-C-E, if a race goes down to the wire, it isn't clear until the last moment who will win. B is the right answer. If a race goes down to the wire, means it isn't clear until the last moment who will win. Then the ninth one, if something is like clockwork, that means it is punctual and regular. If something is like clockwork, J is the right answer. It is punctual and regular. Then the last one, if something is no bed of roses. If something is no bed of roses, it is difficult. F is the right answer. So, like this, once again, I'm going to tell you the alphabets H, G, I, A, C, E, D, B, J, F. These are the right answers of Match the Idiom, that is exercise number 2 on page number 68 in your textbook. Now we are going to see, other than your textbook, some more idioms, so that in your daily walk of life you can use them. So, for example, have ants in one's pants. That means to be agitated or restless. That is called as have ants in one's pants. Then the next one is eat like a bird. She eats like a bird, we say. That means eat very little. That. And then raining cats and dogs. This is a very common, and sometimes we see on the backs of the car, they'll be writing on their car, raining cats and dogs. That means raining heavily. Then cock and bull story. Don't teach me cock and bull stories, we say. Or don't tell me cock and bull stories, we say. That means a far-fetched lie which no one would believe. Then we have already seen what are crocodile tears. Pretense. Okay. The dishonest tears are called as crocodile tears. Then call the dogs off. That means stop criticizing someone. That is called as call the dogs off. Then gone to the dogs. Everything is gone to the dogs, we say. That means it is in a state of ruin. And then fish out of water. We say I am feeling like a fish out of water. So that means feel out of place and confused. That is called as fish out of water. Then would not hurt a fly. She wouldn't hurt a fly, we say. That means very gentle. Then blue blood. Blue blood means it is aristocratic lineage. A person who belongs to a king's family. So he is called as aristocratic. Then see eye to eye. That means share, agree or share the same views are called as see eye to eye. Then feel at home. So we say make her feel at home. That means feel comfortable is called as feel at home. Then feather in one's cap. Feather in one's cap, I hope you have heard about this. Achievement one can be proud of. An achievement one can be proud of. That is called as feather in one's cap. Then off the cuff, cuff. Off the cuff means without planning or forethought. That is called as off the cuff. Then the next one is have green finger. That means be good at gardening. Have green finger is to be good at gardening. Then make one's mouth water. That means arouse appetite. That is called as mouth watering, we say. Then at the 11th hour. At the 11th hour. That means at the last moment is called as at the 11th hour. Then take for a ride. That means cheat someone. Then save for a rainy day. So save for a rainy day means save for difficult times. Is called as save for a rainy day. So like this, if you go to the internet and or Google, and if you find out or if you type these idiomatic expressions, you will be getting number of. There are so many, so that you can learn and you can enrich your language, and at the same time you will be enlightened, and the language, that is the English language which you speak, it becomes lively and will not be dull. So nowadays idioms are playing a significant role, especially in spoken English. So enrich yourself, enlighten yourself with idioms. They are so interesting, and they make us to enjoy them. So if you go to the library, you will be finding so many books on idioms. You can enjoy with them. Okay, then thank you.